Hey guys, this is Sam. I'm the care pastor at Journey, and there's been a lot of big challenges that have come up over the last couple of months as we've dealt with this COVID-19 pandemic. And they've manifested in lots of different ways. For some, it's been challenges in their marriage, right? In their relationship. Some they're together way more than they ever have been, and they're wrestling with communication. For some, it might be a job change. This thing's caused an upheaval in your world and whatever your career has been, and so it's either a job change or maybe a job loss, or maybe it's financial struggles, or maybe it's learning how to have the kids at home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and learning how to find balance for them and for you, and to do that in a healthy way. How do I balance schoolwork with my job, with just engaging them and loving on my kids and that fun family time as well? So to help us navigate some of this, I've asked my friend, and she's also a Journey partner, Dr. Lauren King, if she would just say a few words about this for us and how we cope with this during the COVID-19. And so as a follow-up to this video, on June the 1st at 7 p.m., we're going to have a one evening, 1 hour Zoom conversation. Okay, so I'm going to host it. Dr. Lauren's going to be there to help answer some questions and give us some good tools to help us navigate this season. So if you'd like to come be a part of that, please go to journeytn.com/events and register. Okay, journeytn.com/events, register, and it's called Coping with COVID. So hope to see you there.
Hey Journey Church, my name is Dr. Lauren King. I'm a licensed psychologist and I work at Southeast Psych Nashville, which is a private practice over in the Brentwood area. And I attend Journey Church with my husband Andrew and our 2 little girls. And so when Sam asked me to talk about coping with the pandemic, I was actually really excited because it's something I've been talking a lot with families about. And I think it's something that is near and dear to my heart right now. There was a study that came out actually in April. My guess is that the numbers are significantly higher now, but it said that half of Americans felt that their mental health had declined due to the pandemic. And, a lot of people are really anxious right now. A lot of kids are anxious, and it's okay to be that way, but we just want to give our families ways to cope with it, right? Because, the anxiety is just their body's little fight or flight response. And actually anxiety can be good. It warns us of things. I think if we cope with it well, it can really build character and make us brave, strong people. It could make our children more hardy even. But I think what children really need right now is a sense of safety and comfort. Overt messages are good. They need you to say, you are safe. You're okay. I'm okay. We're going to take care of you. They also need connection. I'm with you. I understand you. They need you to validate them before you jump into correction. If they say, I'm nervous, I'm not going to get to go to college in the fall, or, hey, I'm getting really left out because everybody in the neighborhood's playing and I'm not allowed to yet, or what if my life is never the same? We want to go, oh no, it's going to be fine, and here's why, right? But then what kids do is they turn up the volume. You didn't hear me. Let me tell you all the reasons it's so horrible. And we start to get in this back and forth. But if you can validate and say, oh, let me see if I understand. This is why you're nervous. Yes, okay. I get that. The volume goes down. You just connected with your child, right? And then you can say, let me tell you some other things, though, a different perspective, and they're going to be much more willing to hear you. Children need encouragement. They need you to say, you can get through this. You can do this. I know that you can. We hear a lot about make a routine, make a ritual, whatever you do, create structure right now. And I do think that that's true. I think it's important to have structure. But what I would say is just make sure that your structure you create for your family is driven by your family values, that you're creating authentic experiences, not just like, oh, I saw all these things on Pinterest, I felt obligated to do. And I would also say that you need to think about parenting each child uniquely. So some kids, let's say you have a child with ADHD who really struggles and needs you to create a lot of structure, then I would say that, that's fine. But some kids don't need that. Like kids who are highly productive, creative, motivated, it's just annoying to them when you sort of apply a lot of external rules to their life. Don't fight battles that you don't have to fight. Say yes as often as you can. Rules are there for safety and predictability. They're not there just for rigidity's sake. It's actually a great time to create a discussion in your family about, what do we want this time to look like together? Maybe our value is service. Maybe we've always loved to go out and do things for other people, but right now that's really hard. So what could that look like? What could that look like together? And then once you start to create that structure, maybe it includes school, service, movement and games, then talk with that stuff about your kids. It helps them to encode memories, right? So that they can look back and say, I remember every Friday night was movie night, or I remember that we created that terrible meal that time because we only had 3 ingredients in the house. And it helps them to just remember what you've been through together as a family. And then the last thing I want to touch on is tolerating uncertainty. So this is huge, for all of us. One more thing also about creating structure is that I do think that kids need boundaries, particularly teens. Like they need alone time. It's okay for them to have alone time. They don't have their friends. They don't have school. Everything is different for them. They don't need to be with the family the entire day. Now, if you have a child who is isolating all day and all night, that's a concern. And, you can seek professional help if you need it, certainly. But they need alone time, and you need alone time. You and your spouse need that for yourselves as well. So just wanted to touch on that. But back to tolerating uncertainty, one thing I've talked about with a lot of my teenage clients is that the world has always been uncertain. It's just much more in our face right now. We were never promised tomorrow. There was sort of this illusion of safety that's gone now. We are feeling the uncertainty on a much bigger level. And that actually makes them feel better. They're like, oh yeah, I guess my life isn't that different. Anything could have happened tomorrow, no matter what. I also want to encourage you to practice something called mindfulness. If you've never heard of mindfulness, it's something that's great for when things in the future feel uncertain. And all it is paying attention to the present moment on purpose without judgment. So, what we do a lot is we time travel. We think about, oh, if only this, if only that in the past, right? Or what if this happens? What if that happens in the future, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, tomorrow? And ultimately, we can't really do anything about that. It just makes us anxious and it makes us feel sick. So what mindfulness says is gently escort your mind back to the present and pay attention to it and observe it. So if I'm dancing in the kitchen with my little daughter, I have a 7-month-old right now, and I'm thinking about, because this happens a lot, what do I need to do at work? What's coming up for me? What do I have? Mindfulness just says don't judge yourself for that, but just bring yourself to the moment and attend to it, right? Like pay attention to the look of her sweet little skin, all the color and the softness, the smell of her hair, the smile on her face, the sound of the music, the feel in my heart that I have. Just pay attention and be fully in that moment. And what research shows is even just 5 minutes a day of practicing mindfulness can really help to decrease anxiety. And mindfulness can actually become a great spiritual discipline. I've heard Tim talk about this idea of sort of saying, as you breathe in, Jesus, and as you breathe out, you have my attention. That is a form of mindfulness, right? So this can be part of your spiritual journey as well. And then the last concept I want to talk about is something called radical acceptance. And all that means is that you accept a situation as it is, not the way that you wish it were. We spend a lot of time wishing that situations in our lives were different. And unfortunately, it takes a lot of our mental energy and it makes us feel worse, right? So acceptance doesn't mean I like the present situation. It just means it is what it is. So given that, how do I want to live my life? And this is a great thing to talk about with children and teens, to go, this is a crazy time. You're never going to have another time like it, right? And you're going to tell your kids and your grandkids about it. So what do you want to be able to say you did during that time? Like, that was crazy, but that was the time I learned how to play guitar, or I learned another language, you know, or I really reconnected with my faith or my family. You know, I stopped caring about what people thought about me. It's fine if this time is just video games and Netflix. That's fine. But like, could it be something else? And don't expect your child to answer immediately. Give them time to think about it. You know, you are just sort of planting a seed for them. Really, what I'm encouraging is that you really try to coach your family, your children, to capture this time as something redemptive, to see it as an opportunity for growth. So I hope that that was helpful for you all. Feel free to reach out to me. If you go on our website on Southeast Psych Nashville, my email is on there. And you can feel free to email me if you have questions or concerns. And, you know, at Southeast Psych, we are offering individual teletherapy, group teletherapy, parent consultation. And we also love to give talks in the community. So we do free mental health talks. It's part of our mission to get psychology out to as many people as possible. So if your business, church, school, anything needs, you know, any kind of virtual education, we'd love to help you with that. So feel free to reach out, and thanks again, Journey, for the opportunity.